In this video, the third part of our series, where we're going to be covering the in this video, third part of our series for strength and conditioning training for swimmers, we're going to be covering the releases for our main propulsive muscles and our internal rotators to prevent or also help shoulder pain and shoulder impingement, which is a very, very common problem for swimmers. For the overhead component that I was speaking about earlier. And then in the second part, we're going to mainly focus on the core and the activation of our transverse abdominis, so that profound layer of our core control, which is then going to give us the possibility to be placed higher in the water and transmit our force optimally throughout the whole race. Secure. Alright, so for the releases, we use either one of these balls that are made for releasing. Alright, so for the releases, we use one of these balls. You can also use a tennis ball, lacrosse ball, hockey ball, whatever works. It also depends a lot on the surface, because if you would use a tennis ball on the surface that we have here, which is wood, then it would sure slide away. So I like to use these black roll balls. We're going on our lat first, then we do our pecs, and then in the last bit we do our subscapularis, which is going to be the most difficult one to find, but also not a real problem. For the lats, we simply place our hand on the opposite sided shoulder, and that wing here on the side, that's pretty much our lat. That's where we're going to place the ball. And then we're going to lay down sideways, get that arm to the front, and just same as always, search for tender spots and release them. If we're pressing on nerves and we feel some sort of numbness or pain shooting down our arm, we don't really want that. We slightly want to move the ball then and press onto the muscle tissue. For the pec, the principle stays the same. We're going to be working on our chest, mainly up here, going towards the arm there. So you can do that against the wall, or you just place yourself head down, arm put down on the side, palm facing upward, and we search tender spots and release tension. Also, always incorporate some deep breathing when you're doing myofascial release, because otherwise you're not gonna get the benefit you want out from it. If you're working against the ball, you're really gonna melt into the ball and release the tissue through your deep breathing. For the subscapularis, which is one internal rotator, being on the bottom side, so on the ventral side of our scapula, I mean that movement, which is obviously what we need when we're catching water and when we're pulling, and that's why our shoulders come forward as swimmers. So again, we're going to place our hand on the opposite side of the shoulder, and now the scapula is kind of coming out this way, so we're going to find that scapula here. Again, be careful not to press on nerves, but you're sure going to find some tender spots there, and you just hold that and press in there for a while. Then you can start moving the forearm, keeping the elbow where it is, so that gives a little bit of motion to the scapula and helps getting rid of these knots on the scapula. Try to really get deep, but not too too far up the armpit. So you really want to stay out here, right where your scapula comes across. If you don't find it, drop me a message or just do some further investigations. It's a bit of a tough one to explain, but once you feel that releasing sensation here, then you start moving the arm. You can also do like number 8. You can move it in and out. The more movement, the better. Just make sure you stay on that tender spot with the pressure that you're applying. And then we go get to the core work, the TVA activation. Basic anti-extension exercise that we kind of covered already doing the push-up position last week. Really make sure you suck that belly button in and you incorporate that TVA, because otherwise it's kind of pointless. Then we're gonna move down to a plank. So we're gonna go kneeling plank, just to really make sure we get that activation right and get it easy enough. We want to tuck the chin in, we want to suck the belly button in, elbows below the shoulders, and knees, put them down. So now we can push the bum in, squeeze the glutes, not completely, and then suck the belly button in and connect it to our pelvis. Alright, if we've got that, then we can start lifting up the legs, which is basically the same exercise as we did last time, just a little bit more focused on the core. Okay, pop, pop. Good. After that, lifting the legs up also makes it an anti-rotational exercise again. After that, all we want to do is we want to put the chest down on the same line where our hands or our elbows were before. And then we again get our bum up, tuck our bum in, and suck the belly button in, lifting up the arms. And it doesn't look like you're doing a lot there, but it's actually a really challenging exercise. Getting more focus on that posterior part of your TVA as well. After that, we go side plank. So putting the elbow down below the shoulder, getting our legs extended. That would be probably the most popular one. If you want to make it a little bit more easy, you just go down on the knee. Then you can also separate the leg, same here. If you want to make it harder, just separate the leg. If you're struggling to maintain balance or hip extension, because that's an important point that goes wrong in a lot of cases, we see people doing side planks like that, with like a hip flexion. You really want to squeeze the glutes and maintain your body in a straight line. And then again, make your spine tall. Just try and stay tall, same as in the water. If you're getting smaller, you're losing power and you're losing time, and that's not what we want. Good. So we've got the side plank, we've got the front plank, we've got the TVA activation. Now we do one last one, to really get all the functions of our core putting back together in an open chain movement rather than the closed chain ones that I just showed you. Here we go. Down to that bug, suck the belly button in, keep the knees above our hip, keep our hands up, and now it's basically the same one
as the plank, just the other way around without being in contact with the floor. We suck the belly button in, press against the floor, then we get one leg down, come back up, get the other one up, down, come back up. If we can, we go down with both, or we extend them. Like this, we are getting innervation or activation of the iliopsoas, which tends to compensate for the TVA. So we really want to get that wired in, that we suck the belly button in and get that control from our core without lifting our lower back up. That would be stabilizing or not stabilizing from our iliopsoas, which we don't want to do. We want our iliopsoas mainly to flex our hip and keep our lower spine not rigid but controlled. And if it's moving up and down, just in the fashion that I just demonstrated, then it's not controlled, and then it's not gonna be controlled within functional movement either. Alright, that's it for this one, and then I'll see you guys as we progress.